Well, I'm standing here at the Johnson County Honor Roll. Right across the street behind me is the Johnson County Courthouse. This is in front of the Vienna Public Library. I just came out of there, spent probably about 4 hours in there, found a lot of interesting stuff. Be interested in pursuing it more. Let's see if I can get this. Is interesting, I thought, and I'm sorry to use interesting so much, but when I first saw this, I thought honor roll. I'm thinking school, but it is an honor roll of the people who have served the country and who have, as it says, dedicated to the patriotic men and women of Johnson County who served the country for our freedom. Pretty impressive. I thought I'd take a few moments here to relay the events of the day so far. Today is the 20th day of June, 2012. I'm in Vienna, Illinois. Johnson County, Illinois, and I started off my day arriving at the clerk's office somewhere around 8:30. I stayed 3 hours. Behind me, that is the Highway 45, I think it is, and it leads right up to Interstate 24, which I'll probably take to return to Metropolis in a few hours. I'm hoping to get there to visit the Superman Museum. Now, as far as my family research goes, it's really hard because, you know, the Sextons from my line were here in 1859 to 1866. I did discover a Burton Sexton who bought, from what I can tell, about 4 purchases of land for 40 acres. One he bought from Littlebury Sexton, who was a brother to James Sexton the Elder, or the middle James Sexton, the father of my grandfathers. Even I'm getting us all mixed up. But, so there's some connection, and I'm wondering if Burton Sexton related to Littlebury Sexton. They obviously knew each other. I managed a number of marriage records, found some of those, some birth records, some, of course, death records were the first day. And I'm hoping, I don't know if I can do this, but I'm hoping that I can get Margaret Mathis, she's the librarian at the Vienna Public Library, to get her on recording, telling one of the stories she told me yesterday. Fascinating stories. Right now I am at a park. I think it's a historical park, but I'm not sure. Really nice and really comfortable. I'll see if I can walk around and maybe see, catch some pieces of. I have to apologize for the quality of the audio on that last bit. I wasn't aware. I mean, when you hold this iPad and you, I know the wind was blowing and so forth, but I guess I should have checked a little better. I never got Margaret Mathis to sit for any recordings. Honestly, I didn't have the guts to do it because, I mean, here's someone I didn't even know. She's very entertaining, very knowledgeable. I don't recall the stories that I was referring to there. I remember she did reference a reasoning why people were coming out of Tennessee into Kentucky. That it was an influx, not only for the reasons of getting away from the approaching Civil War, which I already was kind of guessing from my own family, per se, but it was also the land. The federal government was opening up land in Illinois, and that was one reason why people, along with the Civil War coming into the South, were moving into the Johnson County area. What's coming up now, I didn't get any video on this, but I have some pictures that I'd like to share. The Trail of Tears is something that I have heard about throughout my lifetime. I mean, I believe I probably heard of it first in history class back in high school. But all I've kind of known about it is the forced relocation of the Cherokee Indians. I was not aware that when I was going into Vienna, Illinois, that I would actually be crossing paths where that activity, that pathway of leading them towards Oklahoma actually took place. And what follows now, some of these pictures I took, is some of the memorial, some of the grounds where they actually crossed. So here that is. It was 1838 when the federal government drove 15,000 Cherokees on a forced march from their homeland in the southeastern states to the Indian Territory of Oklahoma. The trek turned into a 1,000-mile death march. The most devastating part of the journey was here, across the tip of Illinois, where they were trapped between the frozen Ohio and Mississippi rivers. Thousands of starving Cherokees huddled against the onslaught of winter. Freezing winds howled, snow piled into 4-foot drifts. The Cherokees had no shelter and very little food. Even wood for campfires was scarce. 4,000 died, and their bodies, discarded into ditches or buried in shallow, unmarked graves. After almost a month, the survivors were able to move on westward, but they left much of their hearts behind. Ironically, this same area was also where a Civil War campsite was set. So it's interesting how different periods of history can intersect themselves here in Vienna, Illinois. I believe that's going to be it for me here in Vienna. I just left the library. I think I've acquired all the information I could get from there. I'm a little disappointed I didn't get the librarian on video, though, you know, I really don't know if it would have been right. She's very entertaining. She knows a lot of stories. I think she could add a lot of flavor to this search. I wish I could have found where my ancestors were, you know, what plot of land that they occupied. I found Littlebury sexton, he owned land, and there was just 2 Burton and Benton sextons. Don't know if they were into the family line or not. Haven't made that connection yet, but I'm hoping. There is one last thing on this particular video I'd like to leave, and that will be my summation for my time there in Vienna. Whenever anyone is traveling, there's always the question of food. You know, where can you eat? And I am extremely particular on that matter. I mean, I've been a particular eater. I mean, even since I was a little kid. So I don't remember why I decided to try this place called Dolly's. I think it's called Dolly's Restaurant. But I went in there once, and it was great. I mean, the tables were clean, the space was open, the food was good. I had this something called gyros. I think that's how they pronounce it. It's actually goat, which is ironic because a friend of mine, Alan, which is in a different video, we had been discussing this once. He told a story about someone he knew that used to love goat, but everyone else hated it. And it's worth mentioning because if anyone who might see this is passing through Vienna, Dolly's Restaurant is definitely a place I would highly recommend. It's nothing fancy, didn't cost a lot, but it was a nice ambiance and good food and good service. And here's a little bit, a couple pictures I got of my time there at Dolly's. Good home cooking is definitely true here at Dolly's Restaurant in Vienna, and I loved it. I mean, if I lived there, I'd probably eat there every day. And this food, gyros, never had it before, but it was very delicious. I mean, I may not eat this every day. I probably get tired of it, but if you haven't tried it, I would say, hey, give it a try. You never know, you might like it.